Hello, and welcome to The Relevance of Now with William Linville. My name is Michael Connell. I'm here with William, hosting, asking him the questions that we've heard from all of you. And William always encourages anyone and everyone to email us with any podcast topic that would most complement them. And you can email at contact@williamlinville.com, and we'll include that in one of our future podcasts. And today, I presented to talk about one of William's practices that he's been sharing about feeling and how to feel your way through your life, which can bring you into the heart. And I was sharing with him before this that I've been playing with asking myself, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm doing an email, if I'm talking to my wife, Jennifer, if I'm walking the dog, is asking myself, what am I feeling? And William had been sharing this practice during some of the recent events. And I wanted to have William have some time to elaborate on it. And I'll just share quickly, when I've been asking myself throughout the day, often, let's say I'm talking to my wife, Jennifer, and I'll be listening to what she's saying. And in the past, I was listening, I was trying to practice listening for understanding, but I never was really finding great results with that. And so when I started asking myself, when I'm listening, how do I feel? Then a whole new awareness, consciousness opened up. My heart opened up. And what am I feeling when I'm listening and discerning? And what am I feeling? I might even say to myself, and what am I feeling about that when she's saying something? And I've just been having such profound levels of communication by asking, what am I feeling throughout my day? And I wanted William to expand upon that for us so we can really break that down, and it may be something that you would like to experience. So what presents to you, William, when I've shared all that about how am I feeling, questioning myself on how I'm feeling?
Hey, Michael, how you doing, buddy? So awesome to get to play together again, my good friend. Well, the biggest thing is when you're stepping back from everything and you take a breath and you really connect with what and how you're feeling right here, right now, but in this moment, you're starting to become more and more true to yourself. You're starting to become more and more aware, consciously aware. You're starting to become more and more in a state of connectedness to yourself as yourself. There's a big difference between feeling and emotion. Emotion is more reacting to what's happening around you. Feeling is you right here, right now, as you, within and through your heart, where if you're talking to beloved Jennifer, if you're walking on the beach with your puppy dog, or just you're walking on the beach where you stop for a moment, you do a check-in with yourself. You start to feel what you're feeling. And that's where, when I'm looking at this, it's where you start to become aware. You start to absorb all the beauty around you, the waves crashing, the smells, the scents, the feel of the little particles of water in the air, the spray. You start to hear the beauty of the birds singing. You start to feel their presences around. You start to feel and hear the rustling of the trees on shore. You start to feel the sand underneath your feet, the supportiveness of the whole planetary crest. You start to feel the gentle breeze. You start to smell the salt in the air or the breeze coming at you if you're in the forest or on the landscape. You start to receive all the beautiful blessedness of all the liveliness and life force of the whole universe, the whole support of the whole universe all around you. You see, as you start to feel, you start to become receptive to all the gifts the whole universe has to offer. And I will say, and more, because there's no end of how much you just opened up within yourself to become receptive. You've let all the walls of the ego arrogance fall, drop, dissolve. You become the expressor, but also the receiver. You've just let your whole body start to shift into rebuilding, restabilizing, regenerating, reversing the youth vitality chromosomes, letting the telomere go into reactivation mode, replacement mode. You just stepped off the whole wheel of watch, rinse, repeat, what's been going on through the mind, the ego mind. And you stepped off the whole wheel of morning, noon, and night, and another day, another dollar, and a blink of an eye, it's next week, the week after, and then where did my whole life stream go? You stepped right into your eternal presence. There is no action, no reaction. There is no walls to be put up. There's nothing to protect from or to express to. You right now opened up to the whole universe, your creator source intelligence as a whole, accessed the cosmic lattice work and allowed your manifest levels to come in, allowing the archangelic, the angelic, your ascended host realms to begin to give to you as well without attempting to prove, battle, struggle to force anything from a tiny filter called the egoic structure through all the filters in tiny little droplets of consciousness, attempting to open and open to allow for a drop of the manifestational realms to come into your life streams through a PVC pipe. You've dropped all of that and just opened up to all that is to begin to happen for you within and through your life stream and your manifestational realms in every level. And you just began to allow your whole life, your whole world, inside and outside of yourself, to begin to work for you.
It's so amazing. I mean, have my whole body's tingling as you're sharing this, and also all when I'm remembering like this specific conversation with Jennifer, where I was just feeling what she was saying, and uh, so then I was in my presence, and my mind wasn't distracting me because often uh, once my mind checks in, then I've lost some of the things she's saying, or I no longer am aware of what she's really saying.
Because you're not filtering her.
Right.
But for a moment, I just want to kind of make a little bit of a discernment there for yourself. Were you feeling what she was saying, or were you feeling you in hearing and able to hear what she was saying without buffers?
That's absolutely. It was real listening without the thoughts.
And the coolest thing about it, Michael, is without the thought, without the buffering, and without the dishonoring of putting beloved Jennifer in a box of all of the assumptions that have been made, assumptions slash judgments about Jennifer. So you're listening to her now because you're feeling you, that now you're embodying you, which now you're able to actually see, hear her
Right.
right now without any of these bounds, barriers, or assumptions based in judgment about her. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. And also, you had pointed out that I was able to discern any judgments that popped up, that they were more like about maybe what she was saying, they were more outside of me, and just I wasn't reacting to them.
And this is where many become confused and go into empathy, sympathy, and get very confused about being empathetic and versus themselves. That's why I wanted to discern that a little bit, Michael, to fine tune it a little bit. You're feeling yourself as the love that you are, as the truth of who you are, to where now you can actually literally hear her without filters. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit confusing for those that identify themselves as empathetic and then become sympathetic, on and on. So this is where we're so right there, wide awake, fully alert, to where now we hear their words. And the confusing part is hearing their words on one hand, and then experiencing, on the other hand, something totally different, which is what they're really wanting that doesn't always match their words.
Hmm.
So they're saying this, they're saying that, but you're receiving empathetically something totally differently as an empath. So you may be, you're hearing the words. It's kind of funny. I've been in situations where I'm hearing all these words that they're saying, you're so great, Will, you're all this in a bag of chips and blah, 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 blah. But over here, what they're really saying is they're holding a knife, looking for a place to stab it in, is what's really behind those words. But the words are saying this, but what they're really looking for is like, well, they have all this suppressed anger. They're looking for a place to blame, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. I know for a fact that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But from here, it's like using that discernment. For one, it has nothing to do with you, most importantly. Number two, where we can use that discernment. Okay, well, with that, whether they're holding a dagger or not, let's take a breath, just as yourself right now. They may want to blame, they may want to justify, they may want to rationalize, they may want to make it about something wrong about you, blah, 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 because that's just how the ego works. But right now, let's just take a breath. Let's still now step out of empathetic, sympathetic, and all that other stuff. Let's really hear through your heart. Let's really feel through your heart what they're really, truly asking for, even beyond their words. They're really just wanting to be heard, loved, and embraced.
Hmm.
They're also really just wanting to matter. So right now, let's just let them matter.
Yes.
It's not a lot to offer.
No. But if my mind is involved and, our long history unconsciously, at times in the relationship, it's been thinking of defense or offense or whatever. And so the conversation we had yesterday, it just really touched my heart because I was feeling my heart.
Exactly. And you're actually, through your heart, able to hear what was truly being said, not the words. You're able to hear beyond the words. You brought up something very important, Michael, your past. Now, I was going to bring something up a moment ago, but I didn't want to interrupt. So right now, let's all ask ourselves. It's a fun game, especially with the ego. So we look at the past. All right, the past is the past. Technically, the past does and doesn't exist. The past is all dimensional. So it's not something you can touch, taste, or smell. So therefore, it doesn't exist. But dimensionally, there's parts of your soul fragmentations in your consciousness that are still stuck there. So the part that I have fun with around the ego is, let's ask ourselves right now, self, right here, right now, what if we just let them be right? Is it really the end of life as we know it? And the most important part right here, right now, within your heart, let's just take a breath. And if we just let them be right, although you may know something totally different in the truth of yourself, as you know the truth of yourself, whether they think you're a 20-foot ginormous cyclops or not, if you know the truth about yourself, does it matter? So right now, what if we just let them be right? They could be right, 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 even when they're not right. Is it really such a big deal if that is so important for them to be right, even though you know something totally different, the truth of yourself? Is it really worth all the angst that you're giving it when you know it's not accurate? And what's that like for your ego right now? What's that like within you right now? To just let them be right. Does it really matter?
Right.
Because now
Well,
the funniest thing is if you let them be right, they're going to come closer. You're going to end up having more fun because now they can be as right as they want to be until we just take a breath. The battle's over. And the funniest thing is they're going to turn around and see the truth anyways. Their ego's going to dissolve.
right.
Battle's over.
Yeah, the power of just asking ourselves, especially if we notice our unconscious minds just running, is, well, what am I feeling? What do I want to feel? Or what am I, if you're talking to someone, what am I feeling? And it just instantaneously can put you in your presence. Yeah, the power of just asking ourselves, especially if we notice our unconscious minds just running, is, well, what am I feeling?
Yeah, exactly.
What do I want to feel?
Exactly. Because that's your connection to yourself.
Right. And
And
just,
also,
well, I was going to add, usually with a deep breath at the same time.
exactly, the deep breath, the point of that is to bring you right here, right now.
Right.
It's always there, but how many could just take a breath, hear the birds, take a breath, listen to the air, the breeze, the wind, take a breath, listen to the leaves, take a breath, listen to the air conditioner, the heater, just to become aware, to become literally right here, right now. This is where you're totally receptive, you're emanating, and this is truly the fountain of youth. You're letting it in, you're letting your body recuperate, regenerate, restabilize. You're taking it off the battleground. And now we start to allow, literally, our whole life to begin to work for you, because now we're taking the backpack full of rocks off our back. We're taking running on fumes, running up that mountain, trying to force our way as an ego, trying to prove ourselves to be something. And it's kind of funny, trying so hard to prove to be a this, that, and the other, prove to be seen like this, make it look like this, be like that, so others can look at you in a certain light. Well, what if right now we just take that breath, take off all that jargon, literally, and just let yourself have it? So right now, what if we just decide, and this is the funnest part, to experience you now within yourself, which I find interesting. You experience you For some, they'll call it neutrality. For some, they'll give it all these different names. But right now, let's just feel you. Let's just feel you to where I just am. We're not high, we're not low. We're not joyful, we're not unjoyful. We are consciousness that is aware consciousness right now. Nothing we need to do, have to do, should do, got to do, blah, blah, blah. There's no action, no reaction, nothing to protect, nothing to hide, nothing to make happen. Just right here, right now. Right now, we can let the world, the whole universe, literally work for you. It's always been there, always will be. Nothing to prove. That's all man-made, ego-made jargon. It's kind of fun where, what's it like right now for yourself to not perceivably have to survive? But right now, we just let ourselves live because you are. Now we can literally have a dialogue, a heartfelt dialogue where now we're listening with our heart, not the head. We're feeling, not thinking. The mind's there for a purpose, obviously, but now it's not so much your master. And this is where you make an impact, a major impact with all the dear ones around you. Because you're not psychoanalyzing, you're not putting anyone in a box, most importantly, yourself.
Yeah. And that'll be a podcast coming up soon. Something about loving yourself first.
You know, because as you do that, there's more of you to give.
Ooh, this is really huge, William. Thank you for making us aware of ourselves, our true selves, our presence, our loving presence, and assisting us in moving towards our presence through our day-to-day lives with these tools, exercises, and also awareness, information. That the repetition of this information over all these years has enabled me to keep moving forward in my enjoyment and joy of life. So thank you.
Absolutely. Now, the more we feel, the quicker everything unfolds, and the happier and more joyful and vibrant and blissful you become. And it's so beautiful how you're letting life work for you rather than you working for life.
Absolutely. This is The Relevance of Now with William Linville. Join us next time. Namaste.
Namaste.